Meet Nick Freer, founding director of the Freer Consultancy and one of Scotland's leading strategic PR advisors. With decades of experience advising FTSE 100s, global corporates, and high-growth startups on major transactions, Nick brings unmatched expertise in communications, Manda, funding, and brand positioning. He also writes for The Scotsman and is deeply embedded in the UK tech and entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Yeah, so you've advised Skyscanner, FanDuel, BitDex, Wordsmith AI. What do you think separates companies that break out from those that stalls and never move out?
Yeah, I mean, one common thing would definitely be the founding team, the founder or the founding team, you know, how switched on they are, what level of drive and ambition, we've talked about ambition, what level of ambition do they have? At some point, you're going to have to do it the first time around, but certainly for the people that start doing it the second time around or the third time around, they know the ropes. They have contacts, you know, across the country, across the world. They have investors on speed dial, and they know the media. First time around, if it's your first company, if you're a first-time founder, then you know, it can be more difficult. So in that case, it's probably around bringing in really good people to help you, you know, help you really take off and move into that rapid growth trajectory. And you're going to need the right people. You might need the right advisors. And in Scotland, it might be finding a C-suite executive who's helped to build a scale up before, that can help you match your roadmap, your product roadmap with your you know, what they've seen before, because you know they've been around the block and you haven't, and they'll be able to identify the pitfalls and the bear traps that are inevitably going to come up when you're a startup, and they're also going to be able to help you open some doors to meet the right people, particularly in these global markets that we talked about earlier, and that's you know, that's absolutely crucial, I think.
Awesome. So, in your experience, what would you say makes a great funding announcement or press moment, and what kills one?
What kills one?
Yeah.
Well, like a badly written one, I would say, badly written press release or doesn't help, and that's hopefully something that we do rather well after all these sort of years. But I think with a funding announcement, it really depends. Like, what stage are you at? There's funding announcements in Scotland for people that are raising 100,000, 250,000, maybe 500. Some of that money will usually come from an angel investor, an early stage investment firm in Scotland, and that is quite often matched by Scottish Enterprise match funding. So that might be the seed round or the pre-Series A type round. And what makes a good funding announcement in that case? Well, you know, definitely take it seriously and put a lot of effort into doing it right, because it's harder and harder to get news coverage these days, and so make sure that you're not only talking about the quantum of the round, but you know, try and describe the founding team. You know, have they done anything interesting in their life? Maybe we talked about a health tech company. Have they come from the healthcare industry? Were they maybe a clinician or a doctor before? Because that might be interesting, as that's the founder's story bit of the component to the press release. There could be something about how innovative the product is and how it differentiates itself from what else is on the market, either in the UK or internationally. Something about the size and the shape of the market that you're targeting. So you're not just targeting Scotland or UK, but you know, this is a product that you envision being sold globally, and you know, definitely those kind of things. I swear by really good photography as well. I use a former press photographer for all my stuff, and I think people remember photographs, so why not get a really good photograph? And So yeah, and when you get up to the much bigger funding announcements, we talked about some of these ones that are in the tens of millions or the hundreds of millions even that we've worked on, which are you tend to be working on with the company itself, but also the lead investor. So examples of that I think you and I have talked about are, with Skyscanner it was Sequoia, with BetDex it was Paradigm, one of the biggest crypto investors in Silicon Valley. With Wordsmith recently it was Index Ventures, who are huge and massive on AI, enormous sort of funds that invest in AI startups and scale-ups and technology. With these funding announcements, you're working in really close alignment with the investment firm and the leadership team at the company. You are spending months, not just weeks or days, probably months behind the scenes, working on the announcement, working on all the nuances, targeting the type of media that you really want and need to cover these big funding announcements, and there's quite a bit of outreach around that. If you're speaking to TechCrunch in the States, or Forbes, or the Financial Times, or the Times in London, or the BBC, so these things take weeks or months, and the amount of hours that are spent on them, again, it's hundreds of hours, and because it's that important, your funding announcement is one of what will very likely be a number of milestone announcements going forward. But this one is a really big bang one, it really introduces you to lots of new people, to lots of new media, to international media, and you want to get it right, the messaging, you need to get I'm quite exacting on language anyway. I'm sort of, maybe that comes from my lawyer sort of background, but every sentence, every word within that sentence can have different meaning. And sometimes I remember times when we've gone back and forth for maybe as much as a week over the use or the non-use of a certain word, and the meaning of that word, or the different meanings of that word, and how it could resonate with different audiences, investors, customers, employees, future employees. It's really that important. And I guess it's like that analogy of the swan on the surface. You just see all this news coverage, and you
don't know the kind of work that is going on behind.
Yeah, like everything in life.
Like every smooth thing in life, you always underestimate the amount of work that is going on underneath. Like the swan analogy you use, I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
I really love that.